and welcome back to another episode of Quick Spin, the Autoweek podcast that gets to the essence of the automobile today. We are talking about the 2021 Bentley Flying Spur. We're talking about that with the great Mr. Wes Raynal. You can take a look at this Bentley on our Instagram page right now. That's at Autoweek USA. And hey, while you're out there, why don't you head over to our Facebook page and click that like button? That way we get all the great Autoweek content we deliver daily sent right to you. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about this Bentley in just 1 second, but first we have to pay the bills. Want to go behind the scenes with the editors of Autoweek, Car and Driver, and Road and Track? Become a member of the Track Club and receive 6 supersized issues of the new Road and Track, plus access to digital content, dozens of partner privileges, exclusive invites to editorial events, and first dibs on insider automotive events both online and around the world. Hop on in by visiting roadandtrack.com/Autoweek. That's ROADANDTRACK.com/AUTOWEEK. And Mr. Raynal, tell me about this Bentley. A flying spur, they say.
Yes, the Flying Spur. That was new in 2020, completely redone. At the time, they did that launch. You could only get the W12. My car was the V8, so that's something new for 2021. Actually, is the fact that you can get a V8. Knocks a little of the money off. Not that people care. Tell you about the Bentley. It's big and sumptuous, and it's for a car this big, it handles and drives pretty well. I was doing a little research on some older Autoweek stories, and on the launch of this car, a former Autoweek colleague of ours called it the best sedan in the world. It's hard to disagree, but, you know, for the money, it should be dang good.
Well, for the money, I would hope it would be. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this Bentley shares a platform, I believe, with the Porsche Panamera. Is that correct?
Shh.
Uh-oh.
You're not supposed to. We have to start the recording over
Oh,
now.
no.
Yes, it does. And I believe that there's quite a few Audi A8 bits on there as well, or, you know, there's Bentley bits on the Audi A8. It's like somebody put their peanut butter in my chocolate. Yes, it shares quite a few bits with the Porsche, and why not? You know, that's not a bad sister car to have. The Bentley has sort of more electronic doodads on it to make it a little bit creamier and softer than the Porsche. I think the Panamera is really, really, really good car. But I think the Bentley's a good car too. But again, for that kind of dough, it should be good.
So just because it shares the same platform doesn't mean it's the same car, obviously.
No, it's quite a bit more luxurious than the Porsche. And by that, I don't necessarily mean, you know, the fanciness of the interior or the fancy chrome on the exterior. It's the way the car rides and handles. It's a softer, more luxurious experience than the Porsche, and it's intended to be that way. Now, you know, Porsche customer and the Bentley customer are probably two different customers, but then I also always think in the back of my mind that up in this price stratosphere, these people are buying probably one of each. Hell, this Bentley owner probably buys the Panamera for his kid for a graduation present, for all we know. So it's not a bad thing to be sharing bits and pieces when they're so good.
No, absolutely. But we're going to spend a lot more time talking about this Bentley in just a second. But you took us on a quick little walk around to show us all the fun facts and features of this great Bentley, and we're going to jump to that right now.
I'm sitting in the new Bentley Flying Spur V8. It's stunning, exquisite in here. It's quote-unquote only the V8, as I mentioned, and we'll get to that in a minute when we drive it. The interior is sumptuous and beautifully built. I just don't know what to say. I mean, the quality in this thing is over the top high. You know, what looks like metal is metal. What looks like leather is leather. What looks like wood is wood. It's nothing phony or fake about it. It's a very sumptuous interior. It's comfortable. I've spent a lot of time on the road in this car so far since it got here a couple days ago, and it is comfortable over the long haul or over the short haul. Like I said, it's only got the V8. Ha-ha. I say ha-ha to only. Anyway, let's run through some numbers quick. It costs $265,565, this car. It has a gobsmacking $66,000 worth of options. And, that's just crazy. $20,460 of that is called the Mulliner driving spec with black painted and bright machined wheel. So it's de-chromed on the outside, in other words. There's just all kinds. The contrasting stitching is an option. The tour spec is an option. The heated windshield is an option. It seems like everything is an option in this car, but because it starts at $196 and tops out at $265, including destination. So that's pretty high. Anyway, gorgeous to sit in. Everything screwed together extremely well. The seats are muy comfortable. And as far as that goes, why don't we take this baby for a spin?
So, Mr. Raynal, $260,000?
I know, not cheap. One of the things that I neglected to mention in that walk around, since we are ostensibly supposed to be walking around the exterior as well, this car did not get a lot of attention. It kind of looks like a big American sedan from like the late 70s, early 80s. And I don't know that people even notice it. If you're buying this car to get noticed, don't do it. I had a Maybach GLS 600 around the same time as this Bentley, and a lot more people checked out that Maybach. They knew they were looking at something at least different. This Bentley's sort of invisible. And so I thought it was kind of dumb that I forgot to mention that in the quote-unquote walk-around.
But now I think it's a great time to jump into that drive. Let's go to it right now.
Tooling around in the Bentley Flying Spur V8. I'm giving up 84 horsepower to the W12, which I can't notice because this thing will hit 60 miles an hour in less than 4 seconds, which is plenty quick enough for anyone. 22 grand savings, the V8. Cheaper than the W12. Part of me thinks if I'm going to spend this kind of money on a Bentley, I'm going to get the big motor just to say I have the big motor, so to speak. But this is obviously more than adequate. It's plenty fast, and there's a lot of forward thrust, obviously, pretty much from any speed to any speed. It seems to happen in the blink of an eye. The mind-blowing thing to me about this car, however, is the suspension and the way it rides. This is not a lightweight car. It weighs 5,500 pounds and change, or 5,300 pounds and change or something. It's not light. It's got all-wheel drive. It's got a lot of electronic gizmos. The air suspension is fantastic. It soaks up the notoriously bad Detroit potholes without even blinking an eye, so to speak. It keeps the body level at all times. Potholes don't affect you. The steering is crisp. Again, for a car this heavy, it's pretty crisp. And it's just delightful going down the road, and a big part of the delightfulness is the way it rides. The forward thrust is nice, like I said, but that gets boring in a hurry. What never gets boring is an ultra comfy but not too soft ride. And that's how this, it's almost like British softness, but they dialed in some of the VW/German firmness, or Audi or Porsche firmness. I guess this shares a platform with the Porsche Panamera. This Bentley does, and it's lovely. It's lovely to drive. It handles. As much as a 5,500 pound car can handle, this baby handles. No body roll in the corners. All-wheel drive means I'm never going to run out of grip. At least I haven't yet in the miles I put on it. The roads have been dry, so I've been able to push it a little bit out in the sticks in the middle of nowhere, and it pretty much just does what it is intended to do with no fuss. The Bentley modes, the driving roads, are Bentley, which is kind of in the middle, comfort and sport. So comfort, Bentley, and sport in that order from soft to firm. I like comfort and Bentley mode the most. Sport does firm things up, but I mean, I don't really know why that's necessary. Overall, it's a pleasure to drive. It's a pleasure to ride in. And this is kind of a car where if you drive it, you're doing great, and if you're sitting in the back being driven, that's okay too.
If there's a young person in your life who's really into cars, give them the gift of R&T Crew, the ultimate subscription box by Road and Track for kids ages 6 to 10 every other month. A box is delivered to their door and is stuffed with cool accessories, fun activities, and a magazine chock full of facts, stories, games, and more. Sign up now to receive the all-new Snack Attack box and enter code Autoweek for 10% off an annual box subscription. Just head to rtcrew.com, that's rtcrew.com, and use code Autoweek.
One thing I would like to say that I did not say too much in that drive is that the thing is actually pretty entertaining to drive, considering its size and weight. And I think that's sort of where the Porsche-ness and the Audi-ness comes in. It's not a big, soft, floppy car like, guys my age, when we hear the word Bentley, we think, British wood and smells like leather and rides really soft, but tips over in the corners and won't hustle. This car is nothing like that. It's got the good attributes. It's comfortable. It smells good inside, but it drives well, and it's pretty damn wieldy and lively going down the road for a car of its size.
On a quick spin, we try to get to the essence of an automobile, and I know this question was looming in the back of your mind for the past however long we've been talking, and I have to posit, Mr. Raynal, what is the essence of the 2021 Bentley Flying Spur V8? What's its raison d'etre?
I think it's the special experience that a car like this offers you. It's ultra luxury, but it's also sporting. And I don't think that there's many cars. I don't think there's many cars out there that do it as well as do both things as well as this car does. But that said, it's $200K, so it better do some things right. It better do a lot right. But there are a few cars in the world that offer sort of the special driving experience that a Bentley or the top of the line Rolls's, those kind of things. There's only a handful of cars that do it, and this is one of them.
Well, I couldn't have said it better myself, and I do agree. But I think that's a good place to put a pin in it today. Mr. Raynal, thank you for having to put this car to the test. I'm sure it was a lot of work, but I'm sure you're exhausted from it.
It was. Well, and I am.
Well, that makes sense to me. But
we'll all survive somehow.
Let's hope. But if you could do me a favor, not Mr. Raynal, because that would be unethical. But if you could go head to Apple Podcast Store or wherever you listen to this bad boy, drop us a 5-star review. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you want to hear about in the future. And also, hey, while you're cruising the internet, why don't you head over to our Facebook page? Click that like button. That way you get all the great Autoweek content we deliver daily sent directly to you. And most importantly, I say this at the end of every show, and I mean it sincerely. Without your listenership, none of this could be possible. So thank you for listening.